How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this week's Q&A. So like any of the week, if you want a chance to one of your questions being answered, make sure you do drop a comment down below. So this is my third time recording this video. I've had nothing but bad luck the last week or so with my phone. And then I have a supplement phone that I have been using with a mic, and that didn't work out too well. So I am actually on my GoPro Hero 10. So let me know if the quality is better, both video and the audio. If it's better, maybe I'll just use this going forward. But anyways, if you have not yet, please like the video. Help me out here, guys, a little bit. Try to get things back rolling smoothly. Once I changed the name, it kind of slowed down the channel a little bit. So it kind of seems to be trending back up a little bit. But if you're a constant viewer and you constantly like the videos, thank you. If you watch them, thank you. If you don't usually like them, for this one instance at least, just to help me out here with this video. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the first question of the week, and it is, can the 1.5T last 200,000 miles / 20 years? And there's no reason that it can't. Now the odds are against you. If you follow the channel, you know that I'm not a fan of the 1.5T for various reasons. One of them being that it has a lot of issues early on in its life cycle: injectors, failed head gaskets, turbo a little bit later on, carbon buildup, stuff like that. But yeah, if you do proper maintenance, if you drive it easy, if you use 91 or better fuel, then chances are you will greatly improve your chances of getting to that milestone or milestones. So again, the odds are against you. Anything forced induction will require more maintenance. So make sure you are maintaining these vehicles properly, and that's going to give you the best odds of getting to those 20 years, or more importantly, 200,000 miles. Some people may reach 200,000 miles within 3 to 5 years. I've seen it done in the past, not particularly with the 1.5Ts, but there are cars out there. And once again, just because these engines do have a lot of problems does not mean that all of them will have problems. But again, the odds are against you. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so the next question is D17, which was in the 01 to 05 Civic, very short-lived engine, versus the L15 introduced in 2016, at least here in North America. What are kind of some of the similarities and differences? So both of them blew a ton of head gaskets. So I started with Honda in 2008. So those Civics were very common back in the day. And I'd probably change between 12 to 15, maybe 20 of those head gaskets while, currently up to this date, which seems like a lot until you start comparing to the L15, which I'm probably easily doing that in a year's time. I've probably done between 50 to 60 head gaskets, maybe more. I don't know. There's so many I've lost count, but easily 50 head gaskets on the 1.5Ts up to this date, which is a ton. The biggest differences are, one was naturally aspirated, could barely get out of its own way because it's so underpowered, and the L15 is very enjoyable to drive because it's very torquey, very low bottom end power, which again the D17 did struggle with. So at least the L15 is fun to drive. They are blowing head gaskets very prematurely. Again, if you follow the channel, you will know that this is an issue, and it won't happen to all of them. There are some ways to kind of avoid this. I have a full video on this topic, so if you're interested, I'll have a link for that video in the description section down below. But so essentially, when the D17 came in with the blown head gasket, the symptoms were the car was overheating, sometimes some misfire, stuff like that. But from what I recall, it was mostly overheaters at that point. We would pressure test them, and then we would essentially put compressed air into the port, the cylinder, through the spark plug hole, and then put a funnel on it and watch the air bubbles come out the bubble, and that would kind of confirm everything. So with the 1.5T, it's kind of a little bit different. Usually it'll be either poor heat in the winter, or most commonly cold start misfires, usually cylinder number 3, sometimes cylinder number 2, typically cylinder number 3 though. Cold start misfires in the beginning, and then it kind of progressively gets worse. If you go out to your reservoir, you'll see that if the coolant is low, chances are that it's probably too little too late at that point. Take a rag open a radiator cap. Try to do this when the engine is cold. Now, chances are your coolant's going to be low and not much is going to come out, but still, you never know. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So always try to check your coolant level in your radiator when the car is cold. Again, take a rag, take the proper precautions, kind of stand back a little bit and open up the cap. If your coolant is low at that point, chances are that you do have a blown head gasket, particularly on the 1.5T. So just some of the similarities. Yes, they both blew. 1.5T seems to be blown a lot more often, a lot sooner, and kind of they blew in two different types of ways. But I would still probably pick the 1.5T over the D17. I was never a fan of D17. And again, just because at least the 1.5T is fun to drive, it's peppy, it gets out of its own way. The D17 is just a slug, and it wasn't reliable anyway. So I'll take my chances with the turbo engine at this point, and at least enjoy it while I drive it. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so the next question is, are dealers installing GPS trackers? Do they install them and stuff like that? I can only speak for my dealer. We do not install anything like that when we sell vehicles. Sometimes back in the day, we would install, remote start, like a third-party remote start. We wouldn't do it in the house. We had a third-party house that would do it for us. Now, most cars do have remote start, so there's no need for that. As far as the GPS tracking goes, I have two problems with that. One, it's an invasion of privacy, especially if they don't tell you it's there. You don't need anybody knowing where you're driving that's like kind of your business, right? You don't need anybody from your dealer or anything like that knowing where you are or anything of that nature. The only reason I think they would put this is if you finance it and you don't pay your bill, they would come out looking for the car, send a repo man or whatnot, and hey, this is where the car is. Again, I don't agree with it. I'm not sure if it's even legal or not. I would assume it's not. I don't know if it's a case-by-case, a state-by-state situation, or if it's like a federal thing, but I wouldn't think it would be legal in any sort of way. Now, I probably see this happening with a lot of those side lot dealers, those third-party dealers. That could probably happen in those situations. A new car dealer that's reputable, they're not providing the financing or anything like that, so I don't think they would personally do anything like that. And the second issue I have is when you install those things, you're tapping into the harnesses, which could pose some warranty issues, right? So if you ended up needing a dash harness at some point and this dealer installed this, if you go to a different dealer, well, they're gonna say, well, somebody installed something here, damaged the harness, is no longer covered. So yes, I have a problem with that. I don't think anybody should be installing anything in your car without your consent. And if you do install something yourself, like an alarm or something like that, just know that that's a risk that you run and they could deny your warranty for that particular claim. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so this next question is, should you be concerned with your intercooler getting damaged? So some of you may or may not know, but Honda condensers, particularly on the 10th generation Civic and the 10th generation Acura, are very thin. So they do get, very easily damaged with very little debris causing Freon to leak out. And then you no longer have an AC. So Honda does have I believe it's a 10-year extension, unlimited mileage to serve that purpose and kind of help the consumer out. Doesn't seem like they really made any progress on the material to use because we get seconds and thirds coming back. But anyways, as far as the intercoolers go, they seem to be a lot stronger material. And we don't see any coming in leaking like that. So unless if like a bigger rock or a pebble or a boulder, something like that hit it, then in that event we would see a leak, but we do not see them on a typical situation. I see more times from a small impact where they hit like a curb or something like that and cracked the intercooler on one of the end tanks, or bent it on the bottom to where it pinched it in a split, or when going to a body shop and the body shop purchases a new intercooler and they forget to swap over the O-ring, or they just don't simply tighten the clamp in the right place. Depending on the side, one of them is bolted, one of them is clamped on, and it pops off, causing a leak in a car, basically being undrivable. As far as road debris itself, that would probably be the least of my concern. As far as the intercooler goes, I'd be more concerned with the AC condensers and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, and last but not least, question of the week, Hondacare. When does it take effect? Should you get it, etc.? So this applies to any OEM manufacturer, and I'm a big fan of it. On the technician side, it sucks because that means you have a warranty coverage for longer, which Honda warranty specifically, they do not pay very well, but it is what it is. As far as a consumer, I think it's a great investment. You know, some of these plans are, you know, $1,000, $1,500, whatever they cost may be. If one significant part goes bad along the term of that extension, then it pays for itself in one visit. So I think it's absolutely awesome. You could also get different tiers, some of them with deductibles and stuff like that. So as far as when it takes over, so you have a 3 years 36 base model, it covers everything. So at that point, it would be your normal Honda warranty, some powertrain stuff, maybe a little bit longer, some federal emission stuff, maybe even longer than that. But it would really start taking effect after the 3 years, 36,000 miles. Now, you could either buy this at the beginning of the purchase of the vehicle and kind of break up that into the payments, or purchase it at any time before your normal warranty of 3 years 36 is up. So that's entirely up to you. Again, I am a fan of it. One major breakdown, one major component pays for itself in one visit, sometimes two. So sometimes there are little things here and there and they add up. So again, I'm a big fan of it. And you don't have to get it right away. You can kind of think about it, see how the car's treating you, see if you want to return it, whatever the case may be. Maybe you leased it after the end of the lease, now you want to buy it. So that would be a good time to buy it at that point. So stay away from those third-party warranties. They're absolutely horrible. We get customers all the time. They have to pay for the warranty that they purchased, obviously. Then they have to pay for or agree to a teardown. So in the event that it's not covered by them, then they would be held accountable for that you know, that tear down. So at that point, if it's not covered, which a lot of times it's not, because they'll play the game of, hey, it's neglect, it's maintenance, whatever the case may be, and they don't cover it. So stay away from those third-party warranties. You know, all the phone calls you get the OEM manufacturer one, Honda, Toyota, Ford, BMW, whatever the case may be, just get it. So as far as Honda goes, I believe it's 7 years, 120,000 miles, max warranty. I would max that out, especially if you plan on keeping a car long term. I think it's a great investment. And if you have a 1.5T, it's an absolute no-brainer. Get that warranty. If you purchase this car, make sure you get that warranty. I promise you, it'll be worth it in the long run. So with that being said, I'll catch everyone on the next one.